After two back-on episodes about hard rock bands, one about punk band, here is a back-on episode focusing on a metal concert. In the 27th of October 2014, I saw Animals as leaders in Strasbourg-Letry. The band performed after TesseracT's show, a band that played the same style, and of Navene or Navene Coppervice, Animals as leader's former drummer. I talk about the great band TesseracT is in a Rising episode coming next Wednesday, the 2nd of September. Great, it will be my birthday! The show also starts with Navene's performance, special but very good, mixing electro and metal, to make an ambient music very impressive. On stage, a drum kit, a 7th string guitar and a computer. The musician arrives. He does some stuff on the PC and we can hear aggressive basses, like electros and especially dubstep. He stands up and starts drumming. After some good minutes playing drum rhythms, while the software loops the drums rhythms into a very credible music, he starts playing guitar and the software does its job. He plays some songs and in the end of the show, when its job at drum and guitar works itself, he raises its beer and wishes us a good evening. At the end of the song, he retires and many guys from the public are dumbfounded because of his excellent performance. Because I think a few guys haven't been impressed by Navene's skills and the ease he has to change of instruments. Especially drum was very good, don't forget he's first a drummer. Anyway, the music mixing dubstep basses and prog metal rhythms he developed, it's another thing than DJ's work. Search some videos of his shows to have an idea. The second band arrives on stage, and like I previously announced, I'll talk about it the next week in a dedicated video. You just have to know that with Animals as leaders, TesseracT is one of main djent bands. Djent is a new wave of progressive metal. Before I talk about the star band of the concert, let's introduce djent. I already explained in progressive rock video that it was a technical style of which songs are long. It appeared in the 70s and has been followed in the 80s by progressive metal, fusion of progressive rock and heavy metal. In the beginning of the millennium, a new wave of prog metal bands appear with very active and productive bands that become famous through internet. In this style, 8th string guitars are very often used, what makes the game very technical. These bands take the name of djent bands. This word comes from metal band Meshuggah, precursor of the style that too gave it its name. It's a pronunciation of the sound that will do the largest string of an 8th string guitar if you strum it. Animals as leaders is a trio formed of its leader and guitarist Tosin Abasi, of second guitarist Javier Rice, and drummer Matt Garska. The band currently hasn't a bass guitarist, in the opposite of most of rock and metal bands. It's due to the use of 8th string guitars by its two guitarists. The 8th string guitar is a 6th string guitar with two bass guitar strings, larger. It also has a bass sound, and when Tosin and Javier play, you hear they don't need a bass guitarist. It hasn't always been the case. The band was formed in Washington in 2007 with virtuose guitarist Tosin Abasi that just quitted prog metal band Reflux. Its solo project, named Animals as Leaders, releases its eponymous album and first album in 2009. It's a djent album, issued of prog metal, very inspired by jazz, we can call it jazz metal, on which Tosin Abasi played the guitars and the bass guitar. The album is instrumental. Its sound engineer, Misha Mansour, that became famous with djent band Periphery, programmed synthesizers and drums for the album before mixing it with Tosin's records. He also helped Tosin Abasi for composing. Animals as Leaders go on tour, and its live members also are bass guitarist Cheban Littlefield and drummer Matt Alpern, and of course Tosin Abasi on its 8th string guitar. In 2009, Navene Coppervice joins the band, and Tosin Abasi doesn't recruit a bass guitarist but a virtuose second guitarist, Javier Rice. The trio produces the Weightless album in 2011, always in djent style with jazz inspirations you hear since the beginning of this video. To have good songs you have to listen to. In 2012, Navene quit the band to start his solo project I described in the beginning of the video. Another good drummer, Matt Garska, joined the band. In 2014 is the third album of Animals as Leaders released. The Joy of Motion. This album is a jewel and you have to listen to it. With great songs like Kascade, Physical Education, Tooth and Claw, The Woven Web. It's during the promotion tour of this album I saw the band, and it tributes to its reputation. You'll have understood, I wait coming composition of the band. This video ends like a rising episode, in which I tell you how much I appreciate the band and how much I follow the band in the coming years, and how much you have to listen to it. Anyway, the concert was very great. Back On will come back in September, but see you next week for a rising episode.